Fancy going shopping?
Stop! No whistling in the Burlington Arcade.
Who are you?
We are the Burlington Beatles, probably the oldest and smallest police force in the world. You could say that we police your manners.
Right. Okay. Well, Mark Lord, head Beadle of the Burlington Arcade, tell us your story.
The Beatles story started...
Before we get into that, what actually is a Beadle?
To be honest with you, I don't think anybody really knows. We predate any police force in the country.
Right, back to the story. Go ahead, Mark.
The Beatles story started at this arcade.
Arcade? Are there games here?
No.
So, it's just like a shopping centre, right?
Yes.
Okay, third time lucky. Go ahead, Mark.
The Beatles story started on the 20th of March, 1819. London was very different. People didn't really trust the water, so they drank either gin or beer, and obviously that leads to a certain type of behaviour. So the Beatles' role really was to keep order within the arcade, and in fact that tradition has carried on right the way through to today. Our uniforms are made up of several different layers. We first of all put on our waistcoats, then our frock coats and our top hats in the summer or the autumn. In the winter, you will still put on your waistcoat. You will then put on your cape and your top hat. The original rules here were no whistling, because the pickpockets would whistle signals to one another. No drunkenness. Play a musical instrument. You're not supposed to hurry. It's ungentlemanlike or unladylike. Carry your own parcels. You mustn't bring a bicycle. Unaccompanied ladies, by the way, weren't also allowed in. Now, lots of those rules we couldn't enforce today. We still try to enforce the no hurrying. We still try to enforce the no whistling. It's all about behaviour. As long as you're respecting those around you and respecting the arcade, you'll be left alone. And I put this uniform on. I represent nearly 200 years worth of history. It makes me immensely proud. Yeah, I want to stay here till I retire, if I'm honest with you. That's absolutely true, by the way. That isn't just the spill.
Anonymous. You've probably heard of them. They're the group of online activists that carry out cyber ops to advance social and political change. And sometimes they need a lawyer. A really good lawyer. At first glance, Jay Lederman seems like a regular guy. He lives in the suburbs, drives a fast car, and is a self-professed deadhead. Oh, and he loves whiskey. But there's more to Jay's story than immediately meets the eye. When Jay sits down at the computer, he's anything but average.
I represent accused cybercriminals, many of whom are either affiliated with anonymous or closely related groups.
And it all started with a tweet.
I sent out a couple tweets giving attention to the fact that I would take a pro bono case. The next morning, there was an email in my inbox from Commander X.
Commander X, a prominent member of the hacktivist group Anonymous.
Commander X was the first hacktivist I represented. Once he felt that I was his lawyer, he determined unilaterally that I was the lawyer for Anonymous. There are a number of encrypted chat type programs that I would prefer to use. I like to keep the NSA guessing with which method of communication I'm going to use, with the idea that perhaps they can't monitor them all at once. When someone contacts me and I do not know who they are, it's the most beautiful, purest form of conversation because there is absolutely no judgment on anything. Over the computer, everyone's equal.
One of the hardest things about representing Anonymous is working around digital laws that were written decades ago. His main gripe is with the CFAA, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act.
The penalties are outrageous. It's a bad law, it's a broken law. It's not something that fits with today's technology. Sharing your Netflix password with your friends, that could be a federal crime. I hope that by helping hacktivists, by pursuing these cases in the courts, by continuing to keep the issues alive in the media, that we can enact some degree of change. I hope it's not just a few of us crazies running through the wilderness.
I'm the first exoneree to be exonerated by an Innocence Project and then go on to be a lawyer for an Innocence Project. The best thing to do with your anger is to use it as the fuel that drives you to reach goals in life. My name is Jared Adams, and this is my story. At the age of 17, I was sentenced to 28 years in a maximum security prison. I was falsely accused of a sexual assault I didn't commit. And I realized very quickly early on, it had nothing to do with the truth. It was about race. If you can't afford to prove your innocence, the court affords an attorney to you. My lawyer convinced my family and I that a no defense theory was the best theory of defense. It was a horrible idea, and that defense contributed to me being found guilty. I was incarcerated in prison. So I was there for almost a decade. One day is too long when you're innocent. I was a kid. I was absolutely terrified. My entire youth was gone. This is when boys become men. I missed out on all of that. I was at the time broken, but when I continued to see that my mother and my aunts weren't broken and they were fighting for my innocence, I decided that if I didn't have the energy to fight for myself, I most certainly could find the energy to fight for them. I started to try to grasp the law. I would get law books, law journals, and read about attorneys who were litigating cases in the state of Wisconsin. So I reached out to the Innocence Project, an organization that advocates and litigates on behalf of the wrongfully convicted. Ultimately, they accepted my case. The court unanimously decided to overturn my conviction. I ended up enrolling in a 4-year college where I studied criminal justice. After graduating, I obtained my law degree and I became an attorney. I had the opportunity to exonerate another person, and it was special to me because it was in the same state in which I was wrongfully convicted. I've now opened my own law practice, and I think that me coming from a place like the criminal justice system, being wronged, hearing the stories and getting to know other men who have been wronged, what better advocate could they have but myself? I strongly feel like this happened to me for a reason. It was necessary to encourage the greatness out of me.
Hay grafitis que están tan mal escritos que en serio es que no le ponen las comas y demás. No se entienden. Que la gente diga lo que quiera, pero que lo diga bien. Una falta de ortografía es una falta de respeto. Somos Acción Ortográfica Quito. Nos dedicamos a corregir las faltas de ortografía y de gramática en los grafitis de las calles de nuestra ciudad. Mejoramos del mundo, un signo de puntuación a la vez. Lo que nos motivó a empezar todo esto fue este graffiti que estaba tan mal escrito que básicamente fue como un imperativo moral. Ir a una ferretería y comprar una lata de spray rojo y corregir las faltas de ese graffiti porque era inverosímil. Y es una cosa que no debemos tolerar. En el tipo de intervenciones que nosotros hacemos, el vandalismo ya fue perpetrado antes de nosotros. Nosotros simplemente llegamos a corregir aquello que en ese graffiti ya está mal. Nosotros empezamos por una pared y esa pared nos llevó a empezar a corregir las faltas de ortografía en el barrio. Eso nos llevó a empezar a corregir las faltas de ortografía en esta ciudad. Esperemos que próximamente en este país y en el mundo. Sí, y vamos ya porque mucho tiempo aquí, güey. Esta ciudad está llena de románticos. Entonces, hay muchísimos grafitis románticos en la ciudad, muchísimos mensajes de amor.
Y claro, si están mal escritos, esos mensajes no llegan como deberían llegar, a quien deberían llegar.
No llegan al corazón, dices vos.
Entonces el movimiento inició en Quito hace 2 años aproximadamente ahora.
Y a partir de eso también se han creado otros grupos en ciudades como Madrid, en Guayaquil también. Nos han escrito de Monterrey, de México, de Rosario, de Buenos Aires, de muchas ciudades de Latinoamérica, de España. Mucha gente, de hecho, nos ha escrito preguntando cómo pueden hacer para empezar el movimiento en sus respectivas ciudades. Y como nosotros decíamos, es solo cuestión de ir a comprar spray rojo, hacerse un stencil y básicamente empezar a intervenir. Nosotros pretendemos hacer que la ciudad sea más amena, que sea más diversa, más interesante, más cosmopolita.
Nosotros no desfalleceremos hasta vivir en un mundo libre de vandalismo ortográfico.
No doblegaremos.
No doblegaremos jamás.
When you roll up to that line, you are getting butterflies in your stomach. You're nervous, you're sweating, but once you get the bug, you get hooked and then it's all over.
We are celebrating our 23rd year of the Top the Cop program here at Sonoma Raceway.
Top the Cops is a program where high school students can come out to the racetrack on a Wednesday night, race their car against a uniformed policeman in a stock police car. I'm Kevin McKinney, the program director for the Top the Cops program. I'm a retired law enforcement officer from the Santa Rosa Police Department. We've been doing this from April through August for the past 23 seasons. There was illegal street racing being done in and around the city of Santa Rosa. And I thought we need to get these people over here to the racetrack so they stop doing it out on the street. If you want to race, fine, come on out here and race. Don't do it out on the street. These are our future, these kids here.
When I pull up next to a cop at the start line, I always just think, oh, it'd be great if I beat them. It's a great feeling when you pass them on the drag strip going 100 miles an hour.
There is a very competitive spirit to it, but you know, it's all about the kids. There's a lot of negativity in the world today, and a lot of negativity towards law enforcement. What we try to do out here is make something good, something positive out of this program, something that is worthwhile. Nowhere in the country is this being done on a regular basis. The Top the Cops program did help curb illegal street racing. It's been a great positive program all these years.